Also, if you're a writer, the best creative writing advice I ever got was never throw anything away.
Oh, 1,000%.
It's the
Yeah.
best thing. Like, I love reading my old stuff. I'm like, how did my brain do that?
No,
Like,
sometimes I like
what?
get so down on myself, but then I'll like read some of my old stuff and I'll be like, so that was so genuinely beautiful and interesting.
Yeah, and
Like
crazy.
why do I like
Why do
get
I
like
be scared?
myself? Why do I get like myself?
Yeah.
Um, and like, yeah, I don't know. That is an interesting thing because it's like as somebody who's been like generating writing for like a long time now, it's so interesting to go back and read stuff.
Yeah.
And even stuff that was like even more so like the unstructured stuff because it's just like what you were thinking about. And it's like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, that's so interesting. Oh,
Yeah,
but
cute.
this is also something like the thinking, like the not thinking, just kind of doing. It's interesting because I've been writing this like it started as a short story, but then I was like, okay, well, actually, this could be like a book. So I've just been like
Mm-hmm.
writing it in like small parts.
Nice.
And like because of the I had like scenes, like I have like certain like scenes in my head, and now I feel like I've written like all the scenes, and now I'm like, okay, so how do they all like connect to each other? And
Mm-hmm.
it's funny
Mm-hmm.
because I think that's also what you said the thing about like things have a shelf life.
Yeah.
But also what I struggle with is like sometimes you like think of something and then you like don't quite know how to do it. Like, yeah, it's like great in theory to be like, oh, you have to do it in that moment while the thing strikes, but like you might not have like the resources or like the like whole like thing to even like I don't know what I'm
Right.
saying, like the proper tools to kind of like help yourself get to it in a way, you know?
Yeah, and that's what can be frustrating. I've heard the conversation around like when you're good when you don't like what you are currently producing because maybe your taste doesn't match your skills yet. Like you know that it's
Yes.
not where you want it to be because you have good taste. So you can recognize
Yeah.
when something's good,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't always have every single skill right then and there to make what you want to be good.
Yeah.
So sometimes it does take a little bit, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't ever do it or you shouldn't
Literally.
wait. You
Mm-hmm.
just got to do it and you'll get better and better.
Yeah.
Shitty first drafts, guys. Shitty
Yeah.
first drafts.
Literally.
Another great thing about writing.
Yeah, but
Quinn.
Becca and I solving the world's issues every week on the podcast.
Dang, it's so easy if you just
It's
listen.
so easy if you just listen to us. And that's what
hmm
we've been telling
hmm
y'all.
Yeah.
So are there any like um people you consider like creative inspirations or people that have like inspired your like process or like even like pieces or like whatever?
Yeah. I think a lot of teachers and professors and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I forget the woman who wrote and something who wrote the shitty first drafts thing also. Anne Lamott, maybe. But I love her book on writing and how to approach it. And
Mm-hmm.
like it's very no nonsense. And it's just like, yeah, dude, you're gonna do it really bad and then it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but my creative
Mm-hmm.
writing teachers in high school, like they were so amazing. It was crazy because I don't know. I don't know. Also, I just like being liked by my teachers
Uh-huh.
and they liked me. And I would win contests all the time in high school. And I wrote good poem that they like. Good poem, yeah. And I don't know, they were cool. So I think they also helped me because used to be like, I hate reading. I'm gonna like, if you make me read something, I'm gonna freak out. Or if you like make me
Make
have
me wanna scream.
a scream. Um, and they were like, okay, well, you do have to read. And I was like, oh, fine.
You said, so
Um,
you just did the thing I literally told you not to
and
do.
I'm so pissed about it, but you were right. And yeah. No, they were great resources for me. And then in college, um, I did appreciate the director's way. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Something we read in directing one,
Well,
that
that's what
definitely helped me as a director.
yeah, the thing you said about being bad at first, like that's like one of the essays basically is like
Yeah,
the only way to make something new is like kind of by being mediocre at first. Like
right. Yeah.
You have to deal with a certain level of mediocrity to
Mm-hmm.
one day be like good and then
Yeah.
like great, you know.
Right. Exactly. So yeah. Yeah, the director's way was really good, and it's really helped me like approach plays and written works in like a different way. So
Hmm.
that's been great as like in all the things I do in theater, directing, writing, acting. Um, Kelly, if you're listening, Kelly,
This is Kelly Trumbull.
I just love her too. And
Hmm.
like everything we learned in voice and movement, everything I learned with her and acting for the camera was just so good. Um, yeah, process helpers. What about you, Quinn?
Um, people who I guess, well, like obviously Artist Way
Mm-hmm,
is
mm-hmm,
like a big thing now in my life. I also read that book, Writing Down the Bones earlier this year. That was helpful when like kind of starting a writing practice and stuff.
mm-hmm,
Um, and those are like the two things I've read that were like helpful in kind of getting a process going. And then of course like my teachers and stuff throughout my life. I'm trying to think of like early early people. Um yeah, like basically anybody I ever did like theater with, like they were all like really helpful and like formative. And it's like important to
mm-hmm.
have adults in your life who like believe in you
Yeah.
at like that early stage and to
Mm-hmm,
like encourage you and try to like nurture you. Um and that's very much with like college as well. I also think that like not enough people like understand the importance of being inspired by like people around you, like other people who are also trying to do what you want to do, who
mm-hmm.
like might be at your same stage. Like my friend Becca inspires me so much.
Aw, Quinn, right back at
Like
you.
right back at you, babe. My who are other people I like admire? Becca is basically my only
Check.
literally. But like seeing people also who I've like maybe not who I have like a like super strong relationship with, but like know from other times, like seeing when they get to do stuff is like really cool as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like Nan, who also made our theme song, she inspires me with how much of like a creative like workhorse she is.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
she'll just be like doing stuff and be like, how'd you even do that? And she's like, I don't know. I just kind of
She just does it.
she
No,
always
Nana's
ran.
a perfect example of just doing it.
Yeah, Nan is a great example of just doing it. Like she honestly just like, and
She
I
does
feel
so
like
much.
one of her strengths is that she is not super in her head about it.
Yeah,
Like she just like makes stuff because she wants to, and then it like leads to
great success.
yeah,
She's also a prodigy, but that's like
yeah.
she's a rare case.
Can't
Uh,
all be like her,
exactly.
but yeah, and then that's also another thing that I think is important to consider. There's like different ways in which everyone works, and everybody has like their different timelines and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so something I'm trying to work on is even like it's a fine line between inspiration and like comparison.
Yeah.
And so you want to kind of make sure that like you're like when you're inspired by someone, it doesn't start to become like this like jealousy thing or this like comparison thing like, oh, they did this, but I'm not doing this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like and then also like the art I consume is a big inspiration for me. Like I listen to music like pretty much constantly. All
Yeah.
my like favorite artists and stuff. I like understanding their creativity and
Mm-hmm.
how they do things. Um and like a good comparison thing is like I was like when I was like 20, like I was like how did Lord write melodrama at this age? Like what was she up to? Like what
Yeah.
was the
What was
difference
in
between
the
her and
milk?
me? Taylor Swift wrote Speak Now at this age. Like what was going on with her? But it's just, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's just what you it's just what your
It's just what it
timeline
is.
is the thing.
Yeah.
And like
And people, oh, your greatness does not expire.
yeah, literally.
Like you can do your your best thing at 20, or
Uh-huh.
you can do your best thing at 65.
No, and I think about
Like,
that too. Like some people don't get like recognition or they don't like blow up until like later. And
yeah.
so that's kind of part of the thing that like is inspiring to like hang in there a little bit or like to try to commit yourself to hang in there. Cause like I think about someone like Mike White, who's like has been in Hollywood for like a really long time, but has found like great success with The White Lotus. Like it's the biggest
Mm-hmm.
thing of his career. And it's also one of like the biggest television shows of like, it will be one of the biggest television shows of this decade. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and like he's, you know, in the middle of his, like he's middle aged, like he's
Yeah.
probably in his 50s. um or like Jamie Lee Curtis has been like, you know, turning in like good character performances for like 30 years or something in Hollywood, and she just won an Oscar
Yeah.
at like in her 60s or whatever.
Yeah.
Or that lady who like I believe she was in Minari. Do you remember that movie a couple years ago?
Okay, yeah.
I think she won like best supporting actress, and she like might have not even been like an actress or whatever, but she
Slay.
was in the movie Minari. Or she might have been like a established actress because I know the movie's like talks about like Korean people. And
Mm-hmm.
so like, or like Michelle Yeoh, another great example, like somebody who like
Exactly.
doesn't get like fully recognized or like recognized in a certain way until like later in their life, and they're doing some of their
Mm-hmm.
best work like later in their life. And
Yeah.
so I feel like there's this obsession with youth and like thinking we have to do things like when we do
As
them.
soon as we can,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or I think of somebody like Quinta Brunson, who like we grew
Yes.
up
Was
with, it feels like, because she was in
on
those YouTube.
BuzzFeed.
Yeah, she was literally in BuzzFeed videos, like the most unserious thing you could do.
Yeah.
And
And
she was just,
then
and then she like did a bunch of other stuff too between that. And now she is an Emmy winning showrunner of like
yeah.
genuinely one of the best TV shows I've ever seen. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like,
In her
it makes you,
30s.
yeah, it makes you like believe a little bit, you know?
Mm-hmm. And a bunch of actors in that show who are older and like
Mm-hmm.
getting either like a comeback or like their first big role.
Lisa Ann Walters somehow being one of the hottest people on earth, like
Yeah,
ever.
literally.
I think I don't know what it is about Lisa Walter, but I'm like Lisa Ann Walter, but I'm like she's so hot. Like I don't know
Yeah.
what. I
No,
don't know
it's
if it's because she's like a
crazy.
redhead or something, and like I don't know, but like Melissa Shimenti, I'm like attracted to her. Like I don't. When she showed up to
Exactly.
the
Me
Golden Globe in
too.
that bit in the dress with the boobs, I was like, oh
The
yeah,
the dress with the boobs.
in the dress with the
Babe, she brought the
boobs.
boobs.
She brought the boobs. She brought the Golden Globes. Literally, she didn't need
Not
to
one
win
but
one. She
two.
brought them with her.
Yeah. She she won 0 times that night. Brought home two. Anywho.
Literally. um but yeah, I find like I feel like there's also a fine line between like that and like grind set culture, like being like this guy like was 20 and didn't have any prospects and he started like drop shipping like
Then he started investing in crypto.
literally, which like ugh,
Get a real job,
literally.
guys.
No, and then it's like oh, that was I was watching like a Hassan video about one of those guys, and it's like it's always like drop shipping or something weird where they like figure out just how to like hack into it.
It's
um
the boy version of pyramid scheme.
literally it's just like yeah, it's pyramid scheme. It's yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah. And then that's also the thing about like comparison maybe being futile, because like if you're comparing yourself to someone who did that, like wouldn't you rather like I don't know, I would rather like actually like have something because I like earned it and what I did was like good, you know.
Yeah.
Like I would much rather like, even though Jeff Bezos is a bad like person, I believe, I would rather have like invented Amazon than become a billionaire through like investment banking. Like through like actually making like a like not through like
Yeah.
running Amazon, but like through like creating something and like actually
Sure.
having it be like a revolutionary idea rather than like being like, oh, I invested in Apple at the right time. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, like, I don't know. Maybe that's my delusions of grandeur.
I honestly, I can't choose. It's a real Sophie's choice for me. Be
However it
billionaire good
happens,
way, be billionaire bad way.
you
Guess what,
know,
babe?
Oil
Yeah.
baron or
RuPaul frack or or Jeff Bezos
uh
frack.
either way I'm
Okay, okay,
fracking.
okay. Either way, I'm gonna frack.
I'm a mother
Guys,
fracker.
I'm gonna frack out. Okay. Frack the frack out. Okay. Quinn. Wake up. Okay. Um
Wake up. Don't tell me it's just a face. It's when
I don't
I've
know what
had
your face that
enough.
made me
You'll
laugh
hear
so
me
hard.
say,
Like,
now don't you try to what face?
I
Like the
don't
one
know.
was like,
When you were like, you look like you got confused. You looked
looks
like you
like.
actually had been. Looks like. Okay,
Hmm.
anyway. Um, I really want to know. I know that do you do your morning pages every single morning?
So I do them every day.
Okay. Okay. And I was wondering, is there a time of day where you feel most creative? This is like a thing, I'm pretty sure.
Not in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just kind of the problem. But anyway, I've been like I need to get back. It's something I'm working on, like actually doing my pages in the morning, which like I guess it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't like super matter,
Mm-hmm.
but like uh I don't know. I do them in like a day. I do them at some point during the day, is what I like to say, but they're like supposed to be like morning pages.
Gotcha.
If I actually do them in the morning, like amazing. But they're also
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be kind of like the first thing you do in the day, and they're rarely like the actual like first thing I do.
Yeah.
They were at a time, but I don't know. When I wake up, I'm just like sometimes it's like a struggle to like do anything. Like I have to do something to
Yeah.
like introduce me to the day like gently.
Right.
But I don't know. That's a struggle I have with myself. But when am I most creative? Maybe like definitely like the afternoon.
Mm. Yeah.
Like the morning is past and now I'm like, okay, let me settle into it. Um,
Good.
but I think it honestly might be like just the thought of doing things, like getting the ball rolling. And maybe that's why I don't like mornings because mornings have all the pressure of like actually getting the ball rolling for the day. Because
Yeah.
I remember when I started doing my pages, I would notice that I had a lot of anxiety in the morning. And I think it's because I wake up thinking about everything I have to do during the day.
Oh, okay.
And so maybe that's why I don't like love jumping into them right away. And instead I like do something like watch below deck, which like takes me away from all my problems.
Nice. Perfect.
Um, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely not a morning person. I feel like I get most creative when the sun goes down
Exactly.
in the middle of the night, which also can be problematic because I'm like, "Ooh, I want to do this and I want to finish it." And then it's like 4 a.m. and I'm like,
Well,
"Look at me now."
literally. But well, now it's interesting because I have like certain hours. Like when I'm at home, I have certain hours because it's like I like to have my day wrapped up by the time Jeopardy starts.
Right.
Um,
For my mom time and then Betty bye.
like my mom time, and then I like exist for another like 5 hours.
Rotting time.
Rotting, mum time, rotting time. There's grind time. It goes grind time, mum time, rotting time.
It's the circle of life.
Literally. Um, but yeah, and then but I don't know. It's kind of nice when you like have a creativity mindset because sometimes it makes you feel like you're wasting time less.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if you're like during rotting time, if you like choose to read a book, you're like, oh my God, like I'm
Um,
an intellectual a little bit.
yeah, make my brain bigger.
Literally.
No, reading a book is not rotting time. I think anything involved with the screen is rotting time.
Yeah, which is what I fall into sometimes, other than
Yeah,
Duolingo. Although sometimes Duolingo is rotting time.
depends.
Sometimes they be putting me through so much pressure to earn damn EXP. And I'm like, damn, can't I just enjoy language learning
No,
sometimes?
exactly. I don't want to earn this badge.
Being in the Diamond League, it's like, girl, this is
It's
this is a
exhausting.
job. It's a full-time job being in the Diamond League.
Literally. You have some fierce
It's like
competitors, especially.
I'm fighting for my life to stay in it. Like
Yeah.
I finished at 24th the other day because we were literally at a rest stop and I was like close to the bottom of the league and I'm like doing a lesson so I can like stay in it.
No, literally. Those are when I say can't listen, can't speak. I just
Yeah.
do the bare minimum.
Don't. Me in the bathroom, like, estoy bien.
No cumple. Yeah.
No
Anyway. No
cumpleaños.
cumpleaños. No feliz.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah. So you feel most creative at night.
Yeah, it's
En
true.
la noche.
En la noche.
But do you have anything you do? I mean, before I move on to that, I like do my journal every day. I do like another type of free writing every day,
Mm-hmm.
for some amount of time. And I consider like I walk like every day I'm at home I like walk and do yoga. I consider that a part of like creativity,
Mm-hmm.
or like important to my creative process. Um and so those are kind of the things I do like every day. But what about you, Becca? Do you have like certain things you do
Yeah.
like daily?
I do try and journal every day. Try my
Word.
hardest. Um, I try to meditate. That helps with feeling creative sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
then I try every day, 30 minutes to do something creatively fulfilling, like writing or um drawing or something of the sort. And I try to commit to 30 minutes a day. That can be
Sure.
hard. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I do my darndest. And
Literally.
sometimes those 30 minutes counts as making a Pinterest board for something. And I'm like,
That
yeah.
is creative.
Super creative to me.
Like trying a new recipe or
Creative.
something like that. That was part of the other thing about the artist way that's helpful because like with the artist dates, it's like you could literally just do like anything.
That is nice.
And like you can like think of it as like not like anything. Like obviously like scrolling on Twitter like shouldn't be like your creative outlet, but like
Right, right.
um, you know, like other things can be like inspiring and stuff. And so
But if it takes you 30 minutes to craft a really creative and exciting tweet, like let it be.
that does crazy numbers, and by that, three people like it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and two people saw it. Exactly.
The 700 people saw this, three people liked it.
Perfect.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
Becca, you also have brought astrology into the chat.
as I always have to do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because they say that your moon sign represents like your daily life and also your emotional life. So that does play your creativity, um,
Hmm.
play into your creativity. So you're a Libra moon, am I right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Do you think that plays anything into your creative process or your creativity in general?
Yes, because I think I have to like feel a certain sense of like balance
Mm,
to create.
okay.
Like I have to feel like things are in order a little bit to create.
Yeah.
Like if I'm feeling like kind of down or like emotionally unbalanced and like it's hard.
Hmm.
Um, or if like I haven't done certain things, then it becomes hard. Um, and so like that kind of becomes a little that is a little important. Um, but yeah, I'd have to think about that.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you with your Cancer moon, right?
I'm a Pisces moon.
Pisces moon, Cancer rising. Yeah,
Cancer
exactly.
sun, actually.
Wait, are you
Sagittarius
not? I thought
rising.
you were. Oh, really? I thought you were double Cancer.
Nor.
Well, you just have a lot of other Cancer
I
placements.
have, yeah, like
Okay,
everything
work.
else is Cancer basically.
Okay.
Don't fear. But yeah, I'm a Pisces moon, so I definitely do relate to that in my little imagination stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like Pisces is very dreamy, and sometimes it can go too far and you get lost in the dreamland, and I
Literally.
can be guilty of that. But it's something that like Pisces moon appreciates many different creative outlets. I also relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I cannot be just one thing. Like I just have to be
Everything.
multifaceted.
There
Yeah.
are two fish in the Pisces thing, so
Exactly. Becca Joan, you are all of us.
And I would say that BJ, you are all of us.
BJ, you are all of us. Oh, wow.
Well, it's actually RJ.
Not you correcting me.
What if you started? I didn't say it. I said BJ first.
I didn't say.
I never said LGBT last night.
I swear. I
But
swear.
RJ. What if you started going by RJ? That'd be so weird.
That would be crazy. That would be like I would have to be going through something
Literally,
for
Rebecca
that to like
Joan.
happen. RJ.
You
Or
know,
as
an
my
artist
dad
is
has
going. You know, an artist is going through a certain area where when they start going by like initials. Like,
what
what'd
was
your
I
dad
damn about
do?
to say? Oh, he thinks that I can go by Reba. I told him it's not
Why would you
happening.
want to? Although there was
Exactly.
this lady on Jeopardy whose name was Sharon Stone.
Shouts out when people have celebrity names. Crazy.
She was a 2 day champion and her name was Sharon Stone. And Ken Jennings just like said it like it was normal.
Ken, you can ignore this.
And I'm like, well, what's going on with that?
Yeah, I want to know more a little bit actually. Yeah. Um, damn.
But one more thing about the astrology question I came up with while you were talking, which maybe I shouldn't be doing. But
Okay.
I maybe Libra is because it was inspired off of like Pisces being dreamy, but like Libra is like I feel like Libra is kind of like a cerebral sign.
Yeah,
And so that's why I kind of get trapped in like the thinking a little bit
for sure.
instead of like actually doing like I'm like, okay, well, that's like, no girl, just
Doof.
just do it. Swoosh, just do it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I think that was a pretty productive talk on creativity. Do you have any thoughts as we wind this down, Becca?
Ooh, guys, just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just
Like
do
it'll be
it.
fine. Even if it's
Literally.
bad, it'll be fine.
Even if
And I
it's
say
bad,
this
it'll
to you,
get
but
there
I
one
also say
day.
this to me. Exactly.
Literally. Yeah.
Like it's something I'm always convincing myself of too.
We
So
need to take our own advice a little bit.
literally.
And yeah, I think we've given useful tips and tracks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Most
think
certainly.
something that also sometimes they can help with creativity, just one last coda, because I'm looking at
Mm-hmm.
all my cameras, is like having like hobbies and stuff.
Yeah.
Especially like if you're a creative person, like sometimes it's helpful because like I feel like I put myself on like sometimes a problematic path of creativity because the first thing I ever liked, I was like, oh, so what if I just made this like my job? And so it's
Right.
like I have to be good at it. But like when it's like taking pictures, like I don't want to be a professional photographer. Like I don't really have a desire to do that. And so
Mm-hmm.
like, I can just take pictures for fun.
Yeah. Keep some things like for yourself and
Yeah, keep
sacred.
some things like, and that's why I hate hustle culture. Like, not everything has to be like a job. Like, not everything has
Yeah.
to be like income based. Like, not everything has to be like, you don't constantly have to be thinking about how you can open up a new stream of income with like a hobby. Like,
Right. And not everything has to like define you. So you can
exactly.
just do something and like it and it doesn't ever, hey yo, the person who sent you this wants you to know. It's not that serious.
Literally.
It was never that serious.
And like, it'll just make you more interesting, right? Because it's like, somebody will come over to your house and be like, so what are all these cameras? And you're like, oh, I take like a lot of photos. And they're
Yeah.
like, what? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, you never talk about that. And it's like, well, yeah.
Some things are sacred.
And then it's like you're cool and mysterious. So
Right.
that's also something that will always be good, to be
Yeah.
mysterious.
It's definitely a plus. I'm always working on my mysteriosity.
I'm always thinking about how I can be more aloof.
I'm always carefully planning my aloofness. Exactly.
Aloofosity.
Aloofosity, if you will.
That's a good word. Why hasn't anybody made that a word yet?
Look at us, creative thinkers. Put it in the book. Put it in that book of
Aloofosity. How do
words.
you make a word? Because sometimes they're like, people are like, oh, that's not a word, but it's like, okay, well,
We all just start somewhere.
literally. But anyway, Becca and I are gonna throw to a tiny little break while you guys do something a little creative, make a cootie catcher, pick some different fortunes out for people, and
Exactly.
we'll be right back to get into our segment.
Blub, 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 blub.